I'm Rebecca from engVid. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how one word can have multiple meanings. In particular, we'll look at situations in which the verb and the noun with the same word is completely different, okay? Now, this is especially important for you if you're going to be appearing for any kind of exam like the IELTS or the TOEFL, if you're doing reading, if you're doing the listening section, or the writing section, or the speaking section, okay? But in particular, for reading and listening, because perhaps when you look at a word, you think of it as having one meaning, but it might actually have a completely different meaning. So I'm going to show you some examples of how that works. We're going to start off by looking at some very simple words, then we'll look at some slang, and then we'll look at more advanced examples. But basically, the principle is such that a verb and a noun sometimes have a completely different meaning. They're completely different words. They're not just different forms of the word. Okay? So let's get started. So let's look at a simple word, box. Now, when I say box, you might be thinking of the verb and you might be thinking of the noun because they are very different, right? So the box is the sport, right? The sport of boxing. All right. So this is a verb, to box, but a box is also a noun. Like I received the package in a box. All right. So that we can see that the noun and the verb are completely different. Let's look at some other examples. Light. So light as a verb, you can light many things. You can light a candle with a match. You can light a cigarette, right? Light a fire. But light as a noun is, for example, the light bulb, the light switch, right? A light in your home, okay? So again, the verb and the noun, completely different. And if you were doing a listening section in an exam and they said light, you might get thrown off if you're thinking of the verb, but they actually mean the noun, or the other way around. So you really have to be aware of that, okay? And be able to make that switch in your understanding. Let's look at the simple word fly, like to fly a plane, to fly a kite, okay? But a fly sat on the table, okay? So a fly as a noun is very different from fly as a verb. Let's look at another simple word, park. So you park your car, right? In the parking lot or in a parking space. You park your car. But you could also go for a walk on a beautiful day in the park, right? Walk through the trees and go to the park. So the park can be a place or the park can be an activity or a verb. So these are examples of 4 simple words. They're not always so simple. Sometimes they're complex words. We're coming to those, okay? But let's look at some slang words. Not all forms of these words are slang, but some. So to hit means like, okay, you hit somebody, okay? Somebody hit someone, or one car hit the other car, okay? But a hit as slang, when you say that movie was a hit, it means it was a big success. It became very popular. That song was a hit. That show was a hit. And it means that something was very popular, okay? It became a big success. Jam. Jam as a verb is what? Do you know the meaning? When we say the musicians jammed, means informally they got together and they played and they improvised. And they played together in an informal way. They jammed, okay? Usually we talk about musicians doing this. All right, they had a jam session. But jam as a noun, you might be familiar with. Maybe you like to put some strawberry jam on your bread or on your toast, okay? So that's a jar of jam, all right? Next, nail. So as a verb, you might nail your interview. What does it mean to nail something? To nail something in slang means to do it very, very well, to ace it. You might nail your interview, your job interview. You might nail a presentation, okay? And you say to somebody who did something very well, hey, you nailed it, okay? You're using the verb, all right? But a nail as a noun is that little silver metal thing that you hit with a hammer into the wall, okay? That's a nail, all right? That's what I tried to show you here. All right. the verb foot in a slang kind of expression when we say to foot the bill. I'm going to foot the bill for this. Means I'm going to take responsibility for paying the bill. I'm going to pay for the bill. I'm going to pay for this meal or this event or whatever. Who's footing the bill means who's paying for this event. Okay? I don't know if you've heard that expression before. It is used quite a bit. So again, foot here was used as a verb in a very unusual way. And if you heard that in a test or you read it somewhere, you might say, what are they talking about? I know only about foot, like here, 1 foot. Okay, usually we have 2 feet, but 1 foot, okay? So you might be thinking of this foot, okay? Now, I've only shown you a verb and a noun, and I've only shown you one version of the verb and one version of the noun. In some cases, when you look in the dictionary, you'll see that there are different verb meanings, okay, and different noun meanings. So what does that tell you? It tells you that if you have an opportunity to open up a dictionary or go online and look at a dictionary, then it's worth looking at all the meanings of a particular word. And sometimes you'll be surprised, like, really? I can use this word in this way? I didn't know that. Okay. And usually in a dictionary, an online dictionary or a regular dictionary, they'll give a sentence, an example with it. It's a good opportunity for you to learn to use words which you already know, but in different ways, okay? That will expand your speaking vocabulary. And of course, as I said, if you're doing a reading comprehension or something like, or a listening comprehension on an exam, it will be very, very useful, okay? Now, let's look at some advanced words where the verbs and the nouns are completely different. Okay, so let's start with our first advanced word. And that word is doctor. Now you're saying to me, Rebecca, that's not an advanced word. I know what a doctor is. Everybody knows what a doctor is. Sure. Everybody knows what a doctor is as a noun, right? And what's a doctor? He or she is a medical professional. Sure. You know that meaning. But did you know the meaning of doctor as a verb? It means to fake or falsify a document or a report or a certificate or a photograph. That means to do something to it to make it look like it's real, but it's actually not. To falsify it, to make it false, to fake it, okay? That's the meaning of the verb to doctor something. It's not a very positive word. This is a positive word. That person helps a lot of people. But the verb is not a very positive. It doesn't have a positive meaning, okay? So that's how different a verb and a noun can be, all right? Let's take another example. The word stress. You might have heard this word because we often hear the noun, okay? And we hear the verb also. In this case, let's look at the noun first. When you feel stress, you feel tension, okay? Some people feel stress before an exam, or they feel stress before a presentation, or they feel stress before a job interview, or they feel stress from life. And some people never feel stress. They're always relaxed, no matter what's happening, okay? But that's stress as a noun. It's tension. But what does the verb stress mean? I would like to stress the importance of backing up your computer files. It means to emphasize. I would like to stress this. I would like to emphasize this, okay? So here in this lesson, I'm stressing that certain words have multiple meanings, especially the verb and the noun sometimes. All right, let's continue. Head. Now, what's a head? As a noun, this is my head, right? It's a part of your body. It's your head. Yes, that's the noun. But did you know it? We also use it as a verb. And very often in a business context, he heads the marketing department. She heads the sales department. What does that suggest to you? It means he or she leads that department. He or she manages that department. He or she is in charge of, or is the top person in that department, in that division, in that company. When we say that somebody heads something, it means that person is at the top of that organization or that department or division or whatever. Okay? So there you go. That's another word where perhaps you were very familiar with the noun, but maybe you weren't as familiar with the verb. But now you are. Okay? And you can keep doing that with lots and lots of words. The next one, sentence. Now, as an ESL student and as someone studying English, I'm sure you know what a sentence is. For example, this is a sentence, right? It's a set of words that start with a capital letter, end with a period. They have a subject, there's a verb, right? This is a sentence, all right? So you know that one, but there's also a verb to sentence someone. This is something that in case you watch a lot of crime dramas, you might have heard this word. And it means to declare a punishment for someone who has legally been found guilty. Okay? So in court, right, they take somebody to court, and if that person is found guilty, then they have to say what the punishment is. So when they say officially or declare what that punishment is, then they use the verb sentence to sentence somebody. So for example, you might hear, he or she was sentenced to life imprisonment. Okay? So that was the punishment for a guilty person for a crime that he or she committed. That's to sentence someone. Let's look at another example. Foil. Now, here it has a verb. There's a verb and a noun. So what's the noun? Perhaps you've used this material. Okay, it's shiny, it's silvery, it's a thin sheet of metal, kind of very thin. And we use it when we're cooking, when we're baking. All right, aluminum foil. All right, have you seen it? You might have some at home. All right, so that's a thin sheet of metal that we use very often at home. And the verb, however, is completely different. Okay, if you read superhero comics and watch movies like that, you might have heard this word. Or if you watch crime dramas again. So to foil something means to prevent a bad event from happening. For example, the police foiled the robbery, or the authorities foiled the attacks. Okay? So to foil something means to prevent something bad, a bad event from happening. Okay? To prevent it before it happens. To foil it. All right? So there, you just added a nice advanced word to your vocabulary. All right. The next one, to harbor, as a verb or as a noun. As a noun, a harbor. What's a harbor? A harbor is a place where ships kind of park, right? It's an area of water near the coast where ships are safe, okay? And they wait there. Okay, they're safe from other ships and from other parts of the water, okay? That waves and things that might make harm them or hurt the ships in any way, damage the ships. Okay, so it's an area where ships are safe. This is called a harbor. But what does the verb harbor mean? The verb harbor is something completely different. It's actually something negative. It means to hide a person that's wanted by the police or by the authorities. If somebody is hiding a criminal from the authorities or hiding a terrorist, that's called harboring a criminal, harboring the robber, harboring the terrorist, to hide somebody that is actually wanted by the authorities. Okay, that means to harbor somebody. Completely different meaning, right? So again, can you imagine, like in your exam, like a TOEFL exam or an IELTS exam, what would happen if you come across this verb and then they ask you what is the meaning of this word? Very often there is a section in your reading comprehension where they'll ask you about specific vocabulary, and they love to choose words like this because they know that you know the normal kind of meaning of the word. Sometimes the normal meaning of the word is the verb, and sometimes the normal meaning or the popular meaning that most people know is the noun. But they're usually trying to go a little bit deeper in reading comprehension exams and ask you the not so popular meaning of that word, all right, of an advanced word especially. So this kind of lesson will make you more aware of the fact that some common words can have uncommon meanings as well, all right? Let's look at the last one, season. So again, you might be familiar with the noun, like summer, spring, winter, fall. These are the 4 seasons of the year. All right, you know those. But what does it mean to season something? To season something means to add spices to food. Did you know that? Okay. You need to season it with salt and pepper or hopefully more interesting spices, okay? But basically to season something means to add some spices to food. All right? So there, again, a completely different meaning. So now if you'd like to do a little quiz on this, please go to our website, www.engvid.com. There you can look over some of these, okay? And also check out lots of our other lessons. We have more than 1,000 lessons on engVid by myself and other teachers as well. And before you go away, don't forget to subscribe, okay, to my YouTube channel. Check out some of my many other lessons on grammar, vocabulary, and lots of shortcuts, basically, that will save you time and help you to learn English more quickly, okay? Thanks very much for watching. All the best with your English. Bye for now.